2016 was an enigma of Doctor Who, Connor.
It was a hell of a year.
A hell of a year. A bit of an enigma. All we had from Doctor Who in 2016, we had Doctor Mysterio, which we will get to soon, that came out on Christmas. But before that, it was a little 8-part miniseries, often shoved under the rug, often looked away by the general public.
Forgotten about,
those that say. Well, nobody watched it, and those that did tried to forget. It's a pretty mixed reviewed show. It got slammed at the time, right? Mm-hmm. This is Class, the 8-part young adult drama by Patrick Ness that we're going to talk about today. Season 1 as opposed to
anything.
It could
just be called Class. It could just literally be called Class, because I love how on the Blu-ray it's like season 1.
They were so hopeful.
They were really going for that season 2 pickup.
Well, yeah, I don't know. They didn't get there, did they?
No.
I remember it was on like really late on BBC 3.
So the issue was BBC 3 became entirely streaming on BBC iPlayer, so it never got a televised release per se. And then I think when they did chuck it on, it was on really late.
I think it was like midnight.
After it went on BBC 3, they were like, okay, I think we'll chuck it on like BBC 1 or something, but it was like extremely late. So yeah, no one watched it.
It's crazy. So yeah, it's like this weird enigma that sometimes you kind of forget that it is part of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But hey, so yeah, we're talking about Class today. It's going to be awesome. All 8 episodes. It's our Class special. Hooray!
Yeah, it's like a one-off for the show as well. Because like with Torchwood, we do 4 like specials.
Because 1 for each season.
And then with this, it's like the one-off.
The one-off, the one episode.
Class special.
The one time only.
One time only.
Throughout the show, we're also going to be hearing from you guys quite a lot, because we have such an abundance of responses.
We do, actually.
And it's going to be cool to read them.
People just wanted to talk about Class.
They did, man.
They just wanted to have a lot of opinions about Class.
Everyone has opinions about Class. Well, not everyone, because not a lot of people watched it.
That was the issue that I literally read today. Like it got like mixed reviews, but the issue was that just no one really watched it. Like it just did terrible.
Yeah, I remember they didn't like market it very well as well. So
no.
Yeah, what can you do? What can you do? Yeah, so we're going to hear your responses throughout the show, which is going to be great and exciting. I've sorted through them, and unfortunately, because there actually is so many of them, we're not going to be able to hit all of them up, which I'm very sorry, because
that's a first for us, eh?
I know, and I feel bad because, you know, some of them are really well written. So I kind of chose ones that had a lot of effort put into them and kind of have a point, and that can tie into what we're going to talk about as well.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time cherry picking these before the power went out today.
Oh, before the power went out, yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
It was a very hot day as well, so
I was lucky I had a generator so I could run my computer off of the generator.
God.
But yeah, I'm sweaty. I'm sorry if I'm smelly.
No, that's okay.
I was sweating.
That's okay. You know what? You powered through it. No pun intended.
Yes.
Got there. We needed to do the Class review. I'm glad I finished it today, and I'm glad I did finish it before I went home. I did the classic torture thing where I was cleaning up at work and I shot the phone on the side, cleaned and watched Class.
Is that the right way to do it? I don't know. I watched it.
It is when you got a rush.
I watched it a few weeks ago, and I was actually at my I was house sitting at my sister's house, and I watched it on. They have a really big TV screen. It looks so nice. The colors were just like perfect.
Right.
Like I don't know about you, but everything that I watch, I adjust the colors.
Yeah.
Because everything is slightly different. It's dumb. Everything. Yeah. I don't even want to go down that road. Yeah, but the colors were just perfect for Class, and it looked stunning watching it on there. I was happy to watch it there. Anyways, with the 50% Doctor Who podcast.
Yes, we are.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor. Follow us on YouTube at the 50% Doctor Who podcast YouTube channel. Well, subscribe is the correct word. We would like to get to 500.
500 by January.
By January 1st. We want to be at 500, and we're well on our way. We smashed our October goal.
Correct.
Which was 200 subs, and we're now
there like
at 260.
a November goal? Is there a November
goal? No, I
goal?
think now it's just 500.
Or does it just go to 500 by January 1st?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's quite a lot.
That's 240.
Jesus.
We can look, mate. You've got to set goals.
You got
to
faith.
Hit them.
Let's do it.
Well, I mean, if more,
I'd like to be proven wrong.
If more Doctor Who news comes out, we should be okay. But if we are dry as a camel's beep, then we should be.
Aiden's favourite saying.
My favourite saying.
Your favourite saying.
Yeah. Well,
dry as a camel's beep.
Beep.
Beep, beep, beep the
Fill in the blank. Beep the beep. Fill in the blanks if you like. Okay. So yeah, that's when we do the sting, right? I'm so good at podcasting. Here we
We've been
go.
doing it for a while, you know.
Too long.
50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50% podcast.
Controversially,
Yeah.
I haven't had time to put together a sting that encompasses class in it.
No,
Today.
hey, you're kidding.
No, damn. So, if that's the case, then let's just rock out to it for a second here.
Wow, hey, this is so great, honestly. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
making
man.
it.
And now we cut it off because if we don't, you get copyrighted, and we're not okay with that.
We ain't getting copyrighted again like we did last week for that little spooky Halloween sting that Aiden picked.
Shut up! I'm supposed to have royalty. That it's epidemic sound. It's a thing.
It's
Don't
literally,
worry.
you should, yeah.
It's fine.
Up all night.
That's what I am. Not going to be tonight because I'm tired.
Ding, 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 ding. That'll just be playing in your head when you go to sleep.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Seriously though, can I ask, do you actually like the intro or...
You know what? Yes, I do.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah,
I like
it's a
it.
bop.
I actually like it.
It's a bop.
I actually do like it.
I agree.
It's very out there and yeah, it's
And
out
it
there.
goes on and on and on and on.
It is actually kind of a bop. It's kind of boppy.
And it's very like indie trash for me.
Yeah, the old Indian trash.
A lot of this show is indie trash for Aiden, I think.
I get a pure nostalgia hit when I hear that song and see the intro
Yeah.
because that's like 2016 was our like last year at school. I remember the show came out just as we were like graduating.
Yes.
So it kind of is like a bit of a nostalgia hit.
Nostalgia smacks you in the
But,
face.
you know, it kind of hits me in the feels a little bit.
It does. It does. All right. So in 2016, this lovely show. Oh, this is when we say, what did Connor think about this? Yes. What did you think of Class in 2016? That was a good start.
I mean, like, come on, man. I was let down. I think we all were. I couldn't have been more excited that we were getting another spin-off because it had been years. And I was like, and the fact that it was going to be a like young adult story as well, set at Coal Hill.
Hashtag relatable.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, I just graduated. I know what school's like.
I'm a school kid.
I'm a schoolboy
I'm a person under the age of 18.
who could get the characters in the show. I was, literally,
Yeah.
we couldn't have been, I'm sorry, we couldn't have been at a more perfect age to watch the show. And I feel like the thing that annoyed me about the show was that it kind of was edgy, but only in selected areas. Like, sometimes there'll be a massive splatter of blood and you won't see it again for like episodes, and then a massive splatter of blood. There's next to no like in Torchwood they say like fucking stuff and
Yeah.
all that kind of thing. There's none of that in it.
That's edgy.
There's a bit of sexy time in it, which you know, fine. Like that was, you know, pushing it obviously because like, you know, Doctor Who can't show that.
Doctor Who doesn't have sex.
They can't show sex.
No.
But it kind of seemed like they were trying to be a bit edgy, and I think it just didn't really work for me. And I think that's why it annoyed me. And I just didn't really feel connected to the story. I was just disappointed.
That I was kind of the same. Yeah, I wasn't into it as a kid. I remember not liking it as a kid, but then I remember buying this little Blu-ray in front of you here.
And then you rewatched it.
And I remember being like, oh, it's not as bad as I remember, but it's still really not that good. But I remember being like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so it is a controversial one. It always has been, always will be. Jamie from A Madman Not a Box says, one of the best and most underrated parts of the Whoniverse. Complicated characters, Charlie is incredibly dubious in some actions, but entirely understandable in terms of the whys of the societal upbringing that has brought him to beliefs that cause those actions. Amazing music, a lot of mulling on death and grief and belief and religion, night visiting. Here's a whole episode around that, and it really goes for it, off the back of a folk song. A lot of continuity weaving in, but in unconventional ways. Day the Doctor is 12's motivation for placing Charlie in Coal Hill and insisting he'll be fine. The eighth episode's tragic end being an inversion of remembrance of the Daleks. One incredibly good bottle episode, one incredibly good almost a three-hander episode, and a cliffhanger for the ages. This, Jamie, that was a great tweet.
Wow, that was a really, yeah.
I just ask full stops, you'd love them if you knew. Like, I think they'd go a long way. I think you'd really enjoy full stops. I think that'd help you out.
Crikey.
But no, that's some very good points. Talking about night visiting there.
Yeah.
Referencing night visiting. There is some really good themes throughout this whole show, I think.
And it's very connected.
It is, yeah. I was surprised at how much it was connected.
Yeah, it all, like, you know, and I like that. I think, you know, episodes have their weights and they get mentioned a lot, and there's callbacks to the episodes. I like stuff like that. I like how it's like, it does feel like it's like, it does feel like just a couple of months, which is what it was. It was like 2 months, and it just kind of feels like that. So
yeah, it's a crazy time. So episode 1. For tonight, we might die. I should say we are going through these episode by episode. And giving a score for each episode. Did you pre-write your scores?
I did.
Good stuff.
I came prepared.
So for tonight we might die, and The Coach with the Dragon Tattoo. They both came out on the 22nd of October 2016.
I remember that.
Yeah, we'll just talk about episode 1 for now. So it was directed by Ed Balagete, a name, and it was written by Patrick Ness. So this is the episode that started it all, right? The Doctor rocks up at the end.
He does.
We're introduced to all the characters. The Shadowkin are there. They invade and they're killing pupils. And yeah, what's your first impressions of this episode on this watch?
I don't really like this episode.
No.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring.
It is boring.
Yeah.
It is very... You're kind of just waiting for Peter to rock up.
Yeah,
and I remember
agree.
when I first watched it, because you knew he was going to be in it, it was a bit distracting.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of took away from, the characters and stuff. I don't know, like... The characters, like, they seem to go through... They can be strangely written sometimes, like...
Yeah.
When the episode starts, like, they're all kind of, like, walking in a coal hill, and, like, you see Ram, he's, like, knocking over Charlie's stuff. He's just being a massive dick to everybody, and then, like, suddenly he just, like, changes and becomes this, like, hell nice guy, but then sometimes he flips to being a dick again, and, like...
It's very
weird. He falls for April like that, which I know is a point in the story, but I'm still, like... What the hell, considering how close it was to his girlfriend dying in this episode. I think the character work is just a bit...
Yeah, the character
funny.
work across the whole board is like up and down,
It just goes... They're kind of like... What they stand for is just kind of just going everywhere, I think.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows off in this episode where, like... They're kind of like a bit of a unlikable group that gets thrown together. And I guess that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
But when I couldn't really get myself invested in the characters... When it goes to, like, episode 2, like that's like Ram's story, and then episode 3 is what's her name's story, and then 4 is kind of
April's.
4 is like April's story.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, I get that. That's when I started to care about the characters more. But I just think they kind of make characters seem a bit unlikable and kind of strange and not. It's just, I don't know. It's something about the episode that kind of just, like, stuck out to me. And also, I think a big problem with the show for me is that, like...
The Zoom calls.
Oh, God.
We got to talk about the Zoom calls. But what's your actual big problem? I
really have never found the Shadow King storyline investing.
No. Yeah.
And that's a big thing, because it's such a huge part of the story. Like, the whole... sharing the heart thing, I thought was so convoluted. I just didn't care about it, and I've never liked that. I don't like that story. I don't think they're cool villains. They look cool.
They do look cool, but yeah, they're not.
But they're not. There's nothing to them, and it's like, oh,
it's weird.
What
like
a drag.
It's so convoluted, and then the last episode, the last scene, tries to make it even more convoluted by, like, she switches bodies with the Shadowkin. It's a hot mess,
dude. I forgot that happened, and I was like, oh fuck, I remember this.
I'm a sucker for a school social scene, because you know me.
You are, because I'm so keen to hear your thoughts, because I know you like that kind of stuff.
You know, I'm a young adult kind of guy. Like, I love that kind of thing. Edge of 17 was a blast. That kind of movie is my.
I love
thing.
that movie.
It's a great movie.
I love that movie.
But yeah, and Cha-Cha Real Smooth is another recent one in that genre. Yeah, so the school dance, that I was like, we're kind of getting good here, you know, a bit of poppy vibes in the background. Ooh, doing the robot Connor. Connor spin the discs.
Alright, you guys all know this one. Come on. Everyone sing along. Yeah, that's me, man. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, the Shadow King, I agree, are just kind of lame. And like when you see the CGI
God.
ones and them marching through the hallway, it's like,
Yeah.
and like
Dude, it can be cringe.
P-Cat rocking up, awesome. Love that. Love that for me. Love that for Pete. But yeah, everything outside of that, it's just a.
Did you like the
episode.
Did you like the Clara Oswald, Danny Pink?
That was a nice touch. Yeah, that was a nice little
Reference.
touch. But yeah, there's no. Yeah, I don't know. I like how they kind of like people keep dying here, and they reference that.
But like, I'm sorry, like it. And like in the last episode, you can see how many names have been added in the last like 2 months. It's a fucking fat list.
That school should probably get closed down.
And I'm like, this place would have closed. Mm-hmm. Like this place would have closed.
Yeah.
What do you think of Ram's girlfriend dying and then him losing the leg?
Okay, the leg thing never came into play at all. Like, it was just a thing that happened, didn't
I'm
have
a
any
football
consequences.
player.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm a football
maybe
player.
it was meant to be like, it makes him take a backseat from football and focuses on his friends. But I don't know. It doesn't, because you see him playing every
Are they
episode.
friends? I don't even think they are.
His missus dying was giving me massive The Boys vibes. The way that it's like a sudden, quick death.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for the first 5 minutes of The Boys.
Did you like the blood splatter?
Yeah, that was like fine. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I don't hate
It was
that.
cool because we're not used to that kind of thing. And
Because we love blood.
Yeah, we like it when it gets a bit bloody.
Yeah, we sure
This should have been our
do.
Halloween app. There's
Yeah.
blood everywhere. I remember when they made a massive deal out. It was like there was so much blood on the first day of filming, and it's like it's fine, and it doesn't really come back like much.
Yeah.
It's not very gory
Which I think
as
is,
they made
is
it out to be.
good, because Torchwood was like very much going for the opposite at the start of Torchwood, where it was trying to be
Yeah, it was trying to
gory
be-
and gross, and yeah. Whereas this, I think, I like the way that MA 15 plus is like kind of done in this. It doesn't feel too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting. I think like when they all get set up at the end, it's like it's a bunch of like kind of unlikable people getting put together, and it's
Yeah.
like meant to be this kind of like no one wants to be here, but they're stuck together.
a band
And
of
what-
misfits.
Yeah, and what will they do? And
Yeah.
it's like it turns out not much. Like they're kind of and like what's his name? Like Martinez, I think his name is, which is Charlie's boyfriend.
Yes, yeah,
This character, I can't. He's not on the cover.
yeah. It's weird because he's
not
kind of
he's not in the title sequence.
yeah. He's kind of main cast, but he's not.
But
you
he's
know?
not, but he is. And
Yeah.
he's with the. There's even a line in episode 6 where Ram's like, "And why are you even here? You just keep showing up." And I'm like, literally, like what? He
Yeah.
just kind of shows up. I'm like, he's just there to do like dumb quips,
Yeah,
Like at one point they walk into house like, sorry, the door was open. Like it's just it's meant to be
Yeah.
a serious scene. And they're like saying dumb shit like that. And
What do you think of
Yeah.
we got a what's his name, Mr. Armitage,
Caretaker?
Mr. Armitage from the Caretaker, the head teacher is
it was
back.
a cool surprise, and I was like, this could be a cool character to have in the show.
If only he didn't die in episode
and then
2.
he dies in episode 2.
That
And
was
I'm like,
fucked.
I was like, what? Like, come on.
I was like, he's like a decent role. Like he's in a couple episodes of season 8, and then he gets like fucked up.
Yeah, he gets like skinned.
I was not expecting them to pull that card.
I know it kind
I
of
can't believe
sucks
that.
because like it seemed like a cool side character who maybe rocks up for a couple lines each episode who
Yeah.
like is like a bit of a familiar face, and then they'll just like
Dead.
dead alive.
Yeah, I don't have a lot more to say on for tonight.
Yeah, I'll
We
get
might
my score
die.
up,
It's
but,
just very average.
It is.
I'm giving it a 6.
You're giving it a
Which
6?
I think is generous.
I
think
gave
it's
it a
very
5,
generous. Yeah, I was
which
borderline.
is pretty generous as well.
I was
actually.
borderline giving it a 5.5, but I'm going to stick with a 6. Okay,
I'm
so
adjusting these scores a little bit. Yeah.
Thasmin and Dajarin's podcast says,
Thasmin.
currently, I think it had potential, but it could have been better and maybe have done something better with the ending of the finale, and they needed more promotion. Most of the characters were good, but I don't think it was given the chance. Yeah, we touched a lot about the promotion already and how shoved under the rug it was. It almost had, from memory, it was like a 2-week marketing thing, which is obviously similar to what we get these days with Doctor Who. But the difference is,
At the time, it was, yeah.
at the time we were like, what the fuck is this? But the difference is the 2-week push for Doctor Who, like the Power of the Doctor, was amazing. Like they really almost made up for how long it took for us to get that stuff. You know, like it was a really fun 2 weeks leading up to it. Whereas Class was like we got a trailer, and then it was like dead silent, and then like I remember they did like a live thing. There was some kind of
They
like
did a Comic-Con
panel.
appearance.
Did they?
It was a New York Comic-Con.
Did they? Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
Very sure.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, very
This is
sure.
the first I've heard of that.
Yep.
But they also did like a little panel thing. I remember like on the set at some point. I can't remember.
Yeah, it seemed like it's hard watching the show knowing there's not a season 2, and it's hard to invest. And I try not to let that kind of like mess with my thoughts on the show, but it kind of is because like you're like, why do I bother investing in this shit if like it's not going to go anywhere and it's all left so open? And that, by the way, that's not like me trying to fault the show. I generally just think it should have just gotten a season 2. Like I really would have liked to have seen a season 2. I think the show gets a lot better near the end, and I'm like, maybe it could have found its footing.
Yeah.
I think it's got first season 9. His first couple of episodes are kind of like. Anyway, by the way, I hate the titles. This title was so shit.
The Coach with the Dragon Tattoo.
Did
I like the titles.
Did you get it?
The one thing with episode 1 is when what's his name? Charlie is like, for tonight, we might die. And I was like, he said the title. The Coach with the Dragon Tattoo is directed once again. It's directed once again by Ed Bazzagetti and written by Patrick Ness. It's worth saying Patrick Ness wrote the entire series.
I think that's a bad thing.
I agree, because I think the fundamental flaw of this series is the dialogue. Is like first draft dialogue. There was one part, like I think it's in episode 4, when like April and Ram are getting together, and they're literally like, I think April literally goes, "Oh, Ram," and Ram goes, "Oh, April," and it's like you're watching some Shakespeare stuff.
Dude, like, literally, that's the line where it's like, "I feel broken." It's like, no, it's like, "I feel lost. Then I will find you." I'm like, bro, this is cringe.
It's very that cringe young adult book kind of thing. Right?
He is a book author, so
he is exactly. And he seems like a nice guy.
He should have. If you didn't want to give the entire episode to someone else, you should have just like co-written some stuff, because I think that's the biggest problem. Is it's just all written by the same bloke.
Yeah,
that's my issue with it.
So in The Coach of the Dragon Tattoo is when Ram he's trying to get, he's having like PTSD a little bit, and his leg's fucked, and his coach is not having it. He's like, "You're off the main team," and you know what happens if you're off the main team and you're still not performing on the second team?
There ain't a third team, man.
There ain't a third team. I thought that was kind of a cool line. I don't know why.
Well, it's kind of sad. All these people on the second team being like, "We're the second team. We kind of suck."
Yeah,
that kind of blows,
It would blow to be on the second team.
That's why I don't play sports.
Did you know I've been playing tennis recently?
Oh, really?
It's good.
Near down there?
The other way. It's up. This is dumb. No one can sue. No one knows what we're talking about.
Our tennis court.
The local tennis. It's good for the legs. Been liking it.
You got room out there for a tennis court?
No, I don't. But
you do.
No, that is not room for a tennis.
A mini court.
Oh, maybe table tennis. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Why
not?
No, it's good. It feels good in the legs.
That's good.
Yeah, the boys been doing it for a while, and they finally allowed me to
golf.
join. I was playing golf the other day as well. What?
Nothing.
You just think I'm a wanker because I play golf?
In between us, quite. Which I can't say because it's now not appropriate.
Oh,
golf,
and now you're laughing at the inappropriate joke. What does that say about you, Connor?
I'm sorry. No, I'm awful.
Naughty Connor.
You can Google it if you want. I can't say
it. All right. So, Coach of the Dragon Tattoo. Yeah, so it's Ram sees the coach, and the coach is kind of a dragon, but he's not. It's his tattoo. That's the dragon.
A dragon came flying through the crack in space. And
also,
time,
what is this? Hold on. What is this fucking Carly's crack? What is this crack?
I don't know, man. It's a rip off Carly's crack. Like it's the crack from season 5,
as well as like
it's a tear. I think they call it a tear.
Oh,
excuse me.
So it's not the riff from Torchwood.
No, it's a tear, Aiden. Please, yeah. Right. It kind of sounds cool when it opens. Yeah, kind of cool. I'm like, all right, okay.
I don't know what we're doing. Is this the sound that it makes? Yes, this one's got a bit of blood on the floor in the bathroom and things like that.
Now we're talking.
Ooh,
now we're talking. I'm like, okay. Me watching it as a kid, I'm like, okay, a bit of blood. Episode 1. More
now we're getting edgy. Kind of cool.
And then nothing happens again.
Yeah,
like,
never ever.
Literally no more.
What do you think of the coach with the dragon tattoo, mate?
Dude, Oh.
Good.
Okay, can I just say there are 2 episodes in this season that I really love.
Okay.
Alright, this ain't one of them.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but come on. Like, dude, there's a hilarious scene where Ram's having a cigarette with this, like, Swedish, like, chef that works at the school. And it's so
Yes.
bad.
Yeah.
The problem
cringe.
is, like, the budget clearly wasn't there. And it blows my mind when, writers will, like, you know, they'll write stuff they know is going to look shit because they haven't got the budget, but they still do it anyway. And it's like, come on, man. Like,
How do you think this compares with episode 1? Better or worse?
I enjoyed it more.
Yeah, it's definitely better. I agree.
I enjoyed it more. I think if you can accept it for what it is, it's fine. But I was going in with like pretty high expectations. It had been a while since anything Doctor Who related had come out.
Yeah.
I guess my expectations were a bit high, considering it's all we got for the year, except for one episode on Christmas.
Which obviously is the best episode of Doctor Who to ever exist.
Oh yeah, literally, 2016 was such a great year for Doctor Who in a whole. Like everyone was just so happy what they were releasing.
Yeah.
Well, they released the 2 episodes in one night, and I remember that night perfectly. I watched episode 1. I went out for dinner, came back, watched episode 2. Found that I enjoyed episode 2 more, but I can't get over how silly it is, man. This dragon
silly.
going around you see some booty and a dragon.
Some booby action.
Some booty action.
Oh, booty action.
The coach
Yes, there is some
in the shower.
There's a hot piece of ass in this show.
And
That's
he's like
for sure.
he's squishing bits of like human goo down a pipe.
Yeah, I remember that.
Great.
It's pretty. You know what you know what was really funny that I laughed at was so like the coach like he skins. I don't think it's Mr. Armtridge. Like he does skill Mr. Armtridge. I'm saying his name wrong, but you know who I'm talking about. But I think it's the person he kills at the start.
Yeah.
But he brings... So that's at night, and the next day, he brings the body in a body bag to school.
Yeah.
Doesn't hide it, just puts it on the side of his desk that no one can see.
Dude, it's
like,
so
if you
silly.
walk around the side of that desk,
Maybe that's
you
it.
can see it.
I think he's just dumping it in like the school dumpster
But, like,
where
why
thousands of people probably go every day.
wouldn't you do that at night time? Why? That was just the most... It was dumb, okay? It was dumb. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Pat. I love you, Pat. But
And
that was
also,
dumb.
in between all this, like, you know, we got... It's kind of weird because, like, Tanya and Ram have this almost, like, friendship,
Yeah.
which doesn't really go anywhere. It's not really
No.
explained why they're friends.
Yeah.
You get the impression that Ram's kind of just, like, trying to find out how to do fucking Pythagoras or some shit from her.
Oh, that's right. She's
And
like
that's
his
it.
tutor.
Yeah, but
Through
like
the
it doesn't
Zoom
go.
calls.
And then like I always thought in episode 6 where they all tell the truth, I thought she was gonna say like,
I love you.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we didn't get it. Thank
No.
God. But also I'm like, where's this going? And I guess it's not until episode 3 we get a bit of the first taste of the Ram and April love
Yeah.
interest. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I guess they're trying to go for the whole like. Parents don't understand what kids are going through. They don't get it. They weren't young once. They don't get us.
Yeah.
I've got a clockwork. Dude, there's a scene where Ram is literally on the pitch where people are playing football and he's looking at his fucking glass leg and then he does up his sock. I'm like, there are people surrounding you. Like,
Yeah.
who didn't see your glass leg?
That's silly.
It's just so... And you're right, it never comes back again after that episode.
No.
Like,
yeah.
you don't see it again. It probably costs too much to show it. So they're like,
Yeah.
just wear
Let's forget about that
trousers and fucking knee-high socks.
Yeah. What would you rate it out of 10, Connor?
I think I gave it 5.5. Correct.
5.5.
Amundo.
Okay, so we both raised our scores by 0.5. I'm giving it 6.5.
Okay.
I'm definitely kind of feeling like I'm being too generous with this show, but hey, I'd be lying if I didn't say I enjoyed.
It can be
I was
enjoyable,
kind of enjoying it.
Like, I feel like I'm gonna sound negative, but it's the same thing with Tortured, man. Like, I was very harsh on Tortured, but I still found the whole experience enjoyable.
Yeah, like I genuinely really enjoyed watching this, but there's so many moments where I was like, and there is boring parts, but
Whoa.
speeding car passes by the house.
it.
There is definitely like boring parts, but there's also some good parts and some parts that are just kind of funny.
Spare parts.
Spare parts. Okay, so moving on. Before we get into episode 3, shall we read another listener response?
review.
So this one is from Jay at Uncut Lady. Uncut Laddie or Lady? Who knows?
Uncut?
Could be Uncut Gems.
Does that... Okay, don't worry.
What?
You know what uncut means, right?
Uncut Gems is a movie.
No, it means uncircumcised.
Oh,
Is that what he's trying to go for?
perhaps.
Okay, cool.
Well, uncircumcised laddie or lady. The one spin-off that deserved at least 3 seasons. It's wonderful. The characters are complex and the soundtrack is stellar. Don't trust anyone who says it's anything short of a good time. Now, I included this one because I like the fact that they mentioned the score. And I think the score is really fucking good throughout the entire show. I love it.
Did you?
I thought it was great.
Oh dear.
You didn't like it?
No, I thought it was fucking trash.
I thought it was so good, man.
2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs up for Aiden.
Yeah, I thought it was pants. I didn't reckon. I didn't like it. It didn't catch
stick
my
in-
ears.
Really?
And then when it did, I was like, "This sucks."
No. I love that bit where it's like dun 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 dun.
Do when the credits playing?
Yeah, but there's like a nice
It's
piano
like,
version
oh
of
my
it as
God,
well.
turn this off.
Connor, you're just so
How many
wrong.
times do you watch Doctor Who credits? It sounds beautiful. You're
Not
like,
at all in the Peter Capaldi era.
Oh god.
Night
And you
visiting.
love how blue it is.
No, I love how disgusting. Night Visiting is directed once again by Ed Bisagalele.
Woo!
And also written by Patrick Ness, premiered on 29th of October 2016. So this is when they also are people that they've loved, their parents, family members.
People who have died.
People who have died, they come and visit them in the night. Ooh,
Yeah, April's
creepy.
playing a song on her violin
Which was a great way to start it, I thought.
called Night Visiting. I used to play
Correct.
violin myself, so
And we also got a fantastic
year.
scene of seeing Tanya's family.
yes.
When her dad had, was it a stroke, I think, or something?
Yeah, I think it just came out of the blue.
Yeah, and I thought those scenes were really good. I'm gonna be honest. I thought this episode has always for me been a highlight of class, and today, yes, you agree?
Totally.
Yeah, I think this is a great
like I said,
episode.
2 episodes I really love. This is one of them.
Everyone always talks about Detained, which I know is going to be your second episode, but I think Night Visiting doesn't get enough love as like the really good one as well. Like
I love it.
it is a solid good episode. I think everything works for me. Even
Yeah,
the
totally.
the love stuff between Ram and April, I like
I'm
not
them made of glass.
Nate, the non-stop dialogue problems persist, but I still like it. That line I can take.
I'm not made of glass.
And there's I just thought it was really cool, and I like the concept. I think is good, and it's so easy for us to be. It's like that Zygon conversation again about like whether or not they shoot the unit soldiers' family members in the church in the
Yeah.
first part. It's like obviously this is not your dad talking to you, but if you're grieving your dad still, of course you're gonna want to give it a chance and try and like you might not be able to help yourself to touch him or whatever it is that he wants. Yeah, I think this is a great episode.
Yeah, man, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I think I love episodes like this. I think that's why I really like episode 3 and episode 6 because it requires just like long dialogue scenes
Yeah,
where occasionally Patrick Ness won't be cringy with his writing.
from time to time.
Again, I think it's a really cool concept. I wish they did more stuff like this with the series. I feel like with the 8 episodes, there's so many episodes that are just like wasted on dumb stories when they could have been doing stuff like this, which actually took Tanya's character and made her interesting. And
Very interesting.
because like you don't care about her character in the first 2 episodes. You don't care about any of these characters really. Like, and the first 2 are like they're fine. They're kind of passable, but I feel like this did such a better job at focusing on a character than episode 2.
Yeah.
With like just focusing on Ram's character. It was meant to
Yeah.
be like a piece on her character, and I really liked it. And I think it had the emotions. There is definitely some silly stuff in it. There's a shot of a man getting pulled out of a car, and it's like it's fast forward for some reason, and it looks so
that is
goofy.
funny as.
But you know what? I can let that slide.
There was some cool shots
that's
when you
fine.
could see the vines like connecting all the houses, like these nice wides.
Yeah, it's like there's like a tracking shot going through all the streets.
Yeah,
It looks
that was
CGI,
kinda
but
cool.
It's kind
It
of
was
cool.
cool,
It's kind of
though.
cool.
I liked
Yeah.
the bus stop scene between April and Ram. I thought that looked really nice in the bus shelter.
Yeah, there's
It's a very pretty
there's some
episode,
cool-
I thought.
It was pretty, and there was some good stuff with Lion. It's entirely set at night, which is cool.
Yeah, I love that. Love that for me.
Do you know what I thought though? Like, you can see London skyline in the episode, and it just made me think about how, like, you know, Cardiff was such a huge part of Torchwood. Like, Cardiff Bay was such a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I just wish London could have been incorporated a little bit more. Just a little side thought I thought in watching this episode, but
Interesting.
yeah, I think it's a good episode.
I think the whole thing, though, is like, instead of it being Cardiff, this is Coal Hill, and it's all revolves around Coal Hill.
I would like to be a London-based episode, though. Couldn't be a sucker, but
No sucker for London. I would have liked if Coal Hill was the old Coal Hill instead of this, like, private school white boy Coal Hill, you know?
So what's the deal with that? Is it like is Coal Hill like a branch now or something?
Did they reference it at all?
They kind of... Capaldi says something like when they redecorate and move this place, so... Yeah, it is odd.
It is very odd.
Because I remember when they announced it, I thought it was going to be like the set they used for Clara's school.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was it wasn't like a college.
Yeah, it's like a private college. You know what I'm sort of realizing is how little I care for Charlie, his little box of cabinets.
Oh god! Whenever it does, whenever the show tries to do that, all the stuff with the whole quill race thing or the Shadow King, my eyes literally rolled to the back of my head.
I think it is like
enough.
It's like the longer plot lines just did not work, and not that they didn't work, but they just weren't interesting. And then it's the more individual plot lines that actually stood out and were quite enjoyable.
Problem is though, those plots are such a huge part of the show.
100%, yeah.
And it's like episode like 1, 4, 5, and like the final are so it's full of it. And it kind of makes it hard to enjoy. But I guess the thing we can say, we get our first, I think in Doctor Who, and maybe at the time the BBC was our first like gay sex scene.
It would have been on Doctor Who, yeah.
Was there a gay sex scene on Doctor Who?
No, sorry. I mean, the first time in like Doctor Who universe.
Yeah, so that's an achievement, which is good.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good achievement. Well, yeah.
Yeah, there's
an achievement. You know, I like how they did that. It was good.
There's a good. I've got a good review, a good listener comment later on that kind of ties back into that kind of thing.
Right, but yeah, no, I like it. I think it's a good episode.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, I'm giving it an 8. I really enjoyed this one. 8 is... my scores are so generous, man. This is bullshit. I already know this. Is bullshit as fuck.
I think you've been fair.
Yeah? It's a bit bullshit. I don't know. Alright. So, okay. Ethan. At Ethan and his dogs, which I think is a great name. I need my dog involved in everything I do, as well as Twitter.
Gem.
We love Gem. It's quite good and underrated in my opinion. I enjoyed it, though it drags a bit for the middle two-parter. The other 6 episodes are excellent. So the middle two-parter, the first part of which is
what we're gonna
co-owner of a lovely part, and then the second part is A Bravish Heart. These are both written by Patrick Ness and directed by Philippa Langdale. So this is, we've got 2 plot lines that don't really connect across the two-parters. There's, the blossoms that are falling down that are just in the background for part 1, and then the characters are just sat there
just
talking.
Killing squirrels.
Yeah, and then eventually they're like, "Oh, this is deadly. I just got to cut from this blossom."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a great conversation between Ram and April about religion because they go through to the Night Kings, the
planet and stuff.
What are they called? The
Shadow King.
The Shadow King, Night King's Game of Thrones. Yeah. The Shadow King's lair.
Night King.
There's a great conversation about religion there, which I thought was really nice. And the stuff with April's mum is kind of interesting, doesn't go anywhere, and her dad. What a performance.
Do you know what's so weird? Like, that's like a... that blows my mind. Because, like, he's actually a massive, like, UK actor who's, like, really well, respected.
There's just something off.
I don't know what happened, man.
I couldn't put my finger on what it was in this episode with him.
My daughter.
You know what I kept saying to myself? I was like, why does he keep just yelling lines?
Yeah.
Like, he'll just be, like, having a conversation, and then he'll be like, oh yeah, what do you think of this? No, you don't do that. And like he just yells random lines at random points.
It is kind of weird.
He's just a weird guy, like the dad.
Yeah,
he's a weird guy.
That whole storyline. This show tries to do so much and they had to give every character this like huge. Everyone's got this massive dramatic story in the background going on. It's like Christ on a bike. Are we talking about both of these?
I don't have a lot to say
part one and part
about
two.
them, so we'll give different separate scores. But
again, I hate these titles. Co-owner of a Lonely Heart. Did you get it? The song.
Oh, is it a song
of
title?
Lonely Heart.
Oh,
Much better than an owner
Take it away,
of a
Connor.
Lonely Heart. Dumb. Stupid.
stupid dumb.
I hate it. That's
Okay.
a terrible title. And Bravish Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, dumb. Nah, I don't care about this storyline. Okay, cool. They're pushing it a bit. We get a bit of sexy time with Ram and April. I recall at the time myself going through the changes of life, and I found it a bit relatable.
You were
Great.
like, wow, I like sexy time.
Yeah, I was like kind of going for that stage myself, and I was like, cool, I can kind of relate to this.
Yeah.
Apart from that, this woman gets introduced who's like working for this like secret council.
The governors.
The governors, who later get revealed to be the Weeping Angels, which is really cool.
Maybe we don't
Kinda.
know.
I don't know. It kind of is a bit
because there's multiple
it's
of
a
those
bit up there in the end.
people. Because there was one of them in, I think, in the Dragon Tattoo episode that's watching Quill's classes, and
Is
yeah,
that who that was?
yeah, he was a governor,
robot.
the robot governor man that
God.
snogs him.
Yeah, that gets mentioned. Last person I snobbed was a robot. Great.
I thought part one was more enjoyable than part two. I quite enjoyed part one, but then part two I was a bit like,
That's what I mean. Do they need two parts? Like, we're wasting episodes here, and
Yeah.
we could just like kind of cut to the fucking point.
cut to the fucking chase.
But no, we had to go through this. There's like these pedal things, which I think is a cool concept, but yeah, it's kind of like snuck in with this kind of like April and Ram are having issues, but they're not. But they're just having issues with her dad, and then her mum can suddenly walk, and then she's having issues with the Shadow King's heart, and then she jumps into the portal, and then Ram's dad rocks up, and then Quill's got this thing going on with this woman, and it's like Charlie's like, I'm not opening the cabinet.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
I
I
can't
won't do
open
it.
the cabinet. This cabinet, just I want to fucking throw it in the bin.
Yeah,
okay?
put
I'm
it in the
sick
bin.
of it. I'm tired of it. I don't care about his race or the prince of fucking Persia. I don't
Respect.
know. All right.
Amen.
I don't know. I don't care.
Like the Prince of Persia.
Yeah. I don't care about the Prince of Persia and Kid Quill. Okay.
Yeah, I don't give a
Nah,
fuck.
I like Kid Quill.
I don't give a fuck about Quill. Actually, I want to say that.
Do you not like her character?
No, I saw like a few of the comments
People love her character.
on the post were like, "Oh, she would have been a great doctor." I'm like, "No, she's so unlikable. She's mean and rude for no reason. Sure, her race is dead,
itself.
but like, I don't know. I don't like Quill at all. I think she's really boring, actually.
That's the thing as well. Like, this is what I mean. Like, she's meant to be like this main like. She kind of is meant to be the main character, but she's not. But she kind of is. And, like, she's so unlikable. You're right. Like,
I don't think she serves a lot of a purpose.
literally.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious what they would have done with her in season 2, because they kind of give her this arc in the last episode where she starts to kind of care, because she like hugs Tanya after her mum gets she bites the dust quite literally, because she turns to dust, and they're kind of giving her this arc of like, oh, she kind of cares, but like this is what I mean by, and they give her this entire episode in episode 7, and I was saying to Kim yesterday, like, I have to watch this episode, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, an episode that I was looking forward to. Connor at Le Autistic One says, I liked Class, to be honest. It was a fun show with interesting characters. The show also helped me realize I was gay, so it always has a special place for me. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Great.
It's clearly relatable for a lot of people out there.
That's so cool.
And that's why I enjoy the conversations they have about like religion as well, because you know you're having people find their sexuality, but also people who are struggling with their spiritual identity.
Yeah,
and I think that Patrick Ness, I think he kind of was onto something about like his inclusiveness and what he was going for. And I think had he got the characterization better, then we could have got some really cool arcs that a lot of people could get a lot from. That being said, it clearly is doing something right. If people are realizing that they are gay.
I think he is onto stuff. You're right, but I think also like he bit off way more than he can chew, and I just feel like he needed some help.
Yeah.
And his tackling 8 episodes by himself, I think, again, is like the majority of the problem here.
That's huge.
Yeah,
huge
and
problem.
it gets way too convoluted for its own good, and I'm just not really here for it, for that kind of those kind of storylines. But hey, that's great. Like I literally just said then, like I was kind of like in that point in my life as well, and I found it quite relatable.
Yeah. Well, that's
So there's that, I guess. I'm sounding negative, but again, I think it can be enjoyable in places.
yeah. Like I didn't enjoy them that much, but
it was enjoyable to watch again. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun to rewatch.
what would you rate Corner of a Lovely Heart out of 10 and Bravish Heart out of 10
that
separately?
title.
No,
I've
you
given
love them
both 5.
5. Okay, you are definitely harsher than me. I am giving the first part a 7 and the second part a 6. I'm definitely way too kind on this stuff, but so what did you say part 2 was?
They're both 5.
Both 5s? Okay, all right. Well, next up is Disdained, which is directed by Wayne Shea-Yip and written once again by Patrick Ness. Came out on the 19th of November 2016.
Okay,
now
we're talking.
Now we are talking. So,
What is this?
people, if in the future, if you comment on our tweets and stuff, please just write a comment. Someone posted a massive screenshot of their notes, and there's no time for us to read the entire thing. It was a full comprehensive review, which is why I feel bad. But I picked one paragraph that I thought was really good to talk about. Yes, very appreciative of these reviews, but there's only so much time on a show that we can do.
Okay.
So, this was written by Daddy Swarm. In my opinion, Class is very well written, and it also features one of the best episodes of television, Detained. That episode is written to perfection. Similar to Doctor Who's Midnight, it focuses on the characters' relationships with each other and how easily they can break one another. The antagonist was brilliant, original, and quite terrifying. We had some wonderful Charlie and Mateus, that's how you say it, moments for my gay peeps out there, and the overall interaction between the characters were top-notch. I know every single line in the episode off by heart, simply because I used to rewatch it that much. Sometimes even rewatching 4 or 5 times in a row without a break.
What?
Which might seem obsessive and completely unnecessary, but at the time, I just loved it that much. The general soundtrack in the show was pretty decent too. You have some damn memorable scores. For example, Souls Released or Fight Till Your Last Breath. April's theme was also very catchy. And the scores do feel very Doctor Who-y. So that is an extremely positive review of Detained there. I was kind of blown away. Imagine I couldn't watch any episode, even my favorite episode of TV, 4 or 5 times in a row, let alone fucking Detained, which is a good episode. But yeah, this is the episode where they are enclosed in a room and a meteor comes in.
Through the crack.
Very
convenient, but hey, we're here.
Yeah, it's fine. Right as they're in detention together in this room.
And just as the door is closing as well.
Yeah, it slides through. Whoa. Yeah, so yeah, it's Quill is out of this episode pretty much for like 95% of the episode.
Doing episode 7.
Yeah, she's off filming episode 7 at the time.
Yeah, literally, this is the production.
Filming clashes, yeah. Yeah, and so you kind of get a lot of character work in this episode, which is quite good. Once again, a lot of cringy dialogue, a lot of people yelling at each other, a lot of people just being angry.
Yeah.
I enjoy this episode. I prefer Night Visiting as the best episode of the series, but I do think this is it gives it a good run for its money. It's a lot of angry people. This episode is my only problem. It's like 42. Everyone's just angry, and I know like everyone's hot, they're angry, and in this it's like because the prisoner, it makes everyone angry or whatever. But it's just like I don't like just watching angry people be angry.
Okay,
you know, I'm not into that.
Yeah, I loved it.
You loved it. You really loved it.
I really love it. I've always loved it.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of the show, I think of this episode.
Yeah.
And I think of the potential of what the show could have been. I really, 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 really love it.
Okay.
Because I feel like I love stuff like this where I feel like episodes like this, it tests everyone. Like it tests the writer, the director, the actors.
Definitely.
You know, it tests all of it because if you're going to have to do like, it's all pretty much set in one room except for like a very small scene in the beginning when they're walking through a hallway. They are quite literally detained. And, you know, a director's got to get, a bit creative.
You do. How many different ways can you shoot this room, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I like that kind of thing because it makes people have to like kind of like show off their talents and stuff. And I really just like it. I think it shows the characters aren't just as like 2D as they kind of seem.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the meteor coming in, and the idea that you have to tell the truth before you get to hear the prisoner speak, which again I thought was you don't get to see him, and I think that's what makes it scarier. It's
Kind of like Midnight.
it kind of is Midnight in a way, but I
is.
love Midnight for what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of really cool character pieces and scenes that don't really necessarily go anywhere, and I'm sure we would have gotten more stuff to do with all that stuff in a season 2. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but I just love episodes like this. Like,
I agree. I feel like I sounded more negative than I did about it. I did really enjoy it.
if you recall the TV show that you and I were going to write, one of the episodes that I was going to write was an episode where we were all locked in my room.
Yes, locked in
we got
Connor's
stuck.
bedroom.
And I've always wanted to write like maybe like a short or like a one-off or an episode where people are just stuck in the ring. Because I think it's such a great time for characters just to be characters. And it takes some skill to do that. And I think this is the best that Patrick was in the season, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, this and Detain are definitely the highlights, I think. This and Night Visiting are the highlights.
Visiting, yeah.
I'm giving Detained a 7.5. What are you going to give it?
8.5.
8? Wow, that is real high.
Yep.
Yeah, Connor's a big fan of
I
Detained.
actually really do just love it. Like, I think it's really great.
I seriously am looking at my scores like, what am I doing in my life? This is ridiculous. But hey, scores don't really matter.
Too high for you?
Too high for me, baby.
Oh god, this episode name sucks.
Connor loves really good episode names like this.
It's a terrible
The Metaphysical
name.
Engine, or What Quill
Did.
Did. This is an episode directed once again by Wayne Che Yip and written by Patrick Ness. Came out on the 26th of November 2016. Now, I've lost touch with my... I fucked up here somewhere. No, I haven't. I'm good. Nicholas Moore, 16, says, absolute garbage. Characterizations are spotty and inconsistent. Editing, dialogue, and pacing are some of the worst I've seen in a mainstream show. The premise of episodes are occasionally interesting, but never capitalized on. So that's in reference to the entirety of Class, not just this episode.
Yeah, right, okay.
I just thought I'd throw that one in here because all of the reviews that I'm reading are all really positive, because the comment section on the tweet was so positive and a lot of love for Class, and that's great to see. I'm so glad it works in a lot of ways for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd throw in a negative one just to get that ratio a bit.
Yeah.
Be realistic about things,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. I think that this is so boring, this episode. And there's bits that are like visually interesting, like when they go to the pink thing.
Yeah, I agree, man. It looks nice.
Even though the way that they've like done the scoping or whatever for the colouring of the pink, like making this forest that is obviously a green forest pink, you can see the pink is on Quill's hair sometimes. It doesn't quite... The VFX wasn't quite there, but it was bloody close, and they gave it a really good crack.
Really nice, yeah.
It did, and it gave this episode a really interesting feel and look. And I thought the first half was kind of interesting, and the back half they like take on some like mythical god thing because they need a thing. And it's just
the first Quill.
It's like a MacGuffin episode, right? Like it's just this. I don't like Miss Quill. The governor person's boring. They brought on this other character
who's just there, and then
they have a fight to the death at the end.
They doink, and then they try and kill each other.
Which was that the same beach as Kill the Moon? The end of Kill the Moon. It really looked like that, right?
I think so, actually.
What did you think? I mean, I already know you. Sounds like you hated it, but
well, come on, man. Like this didn't need to be a full episode.
No.
I feel like they thought we were going to be really more invested in these characters than we actually were, because this is a fucking like a big thing to do for like a semi-final.
Yeah.
Which I thought was mostly just trash and not fucking an enjoyable watch. It was hard just to watch. Okay.
It was hard to watch.
I thought, like you just said there, like it had some okay beats. I thought the whole surgery, getting the thing out the eye, was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was quite tense. Quite maybe not tense.
But it's like that woman who works for the fucking the division bought on Wish.
Yeah.
Who's like, I'm sorry, you're not actually in the hall. You're actually on a beach, and only one of you can go out. And I go, see you later. And I'm like, where did this come from? All of a sudden,
and then it's like he shoots it, but he shoots himself. Oh god.
But literally in the next time trailer, you see her walking away from the beach after, like, in the shot, in the trailer, you see them fighting and her walking away from the beach. I'm like, I remember when I first watched that next time trailer after the Detain episode, I was like, well, clearly she wins this fight, whatever it is.
I love...
well, obviously she does, because you see it at the end with the eye.
Yeah. I've always thought it was quite interesting, and I kind of like how detained you're seeing what most of the cast are doing, and then this fucking episode with too long of a title. In this episode,
what Quill did,
you're seeing what the other part of the story, what was happening, and then they kind of come together at the end of it.
Interesting.
I've always thought that's a cool story device. I always thought
it's interesting, but I guess it does kind of take away from she gets out, she gets the surgery. It's like the opposite of what Better Call Saul was. You knew how it ended, but you still gave a shit.
Yeah.
You didn't care in this
Didn't
because
give
you
no
knew
shits.
she got out.
But I gave no shits in this episode.
Why? I thought we were going to be a bit more positive.
So did I, because I did enjoy watching the show,
me
but
too.
the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, these scores are so, like, way too kind.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 5.
I again think is being generous.
I'm giving it a 5, which I have on the spot dropped as well.
But I think the reason why I'm giving so many 5s out is because I like I just said then, like I'm still enjoying it enough to not give it a 4.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I start going to 4s, that's when I start to like be like, okay, I actually really just didn't enjoy this. Like, even though it sounds like I kind of hated it, I don't know.
So
are we contradicting ourselves?
Both 5s, which means we get to do a fist bump.
Oh.
Pop, because we gave the same score.
Have we not done one together?
No, none of our scores have been the same. This is the first one that is the same. Okay, so
The Lost.
Paul, well, before we get to the Lost, Paul Tagliatelle, I'm so sorry if I pronounced a lot of these names wrong, at Mr. Ping Enjoyer.
Mr. Ping.
I love Class, always have. 8 solid episodes with amazing characters, so much potential for a second series that could have ironed out some of the problems. The Big Finish stuff is also top tier. Love it all. Really wish it got a second series.
Yeah, I kind of tried to research the Big Finish stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't really get far with it, though.
Well, I think it's all set within series 1 of Class.
I know, so it's not a continuation.
Yeah,
Didn't Josh say that Patrick Ness was like, don't touch season 2 unless I do it?
Wants to keep it a secret, which is, fair enough. And it'll be interesting to see if it ever does happen in Big Finish or something. Do you have any idea where series 2 would have gone? Do you have any theories?
Well, I read that it was going to be a Weeping Angel Civil War.
Okay, that's cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Cool.
And there was something else. I think...
what, are Weeping Angels sending each other back in time?
I don't know. And I think they were going to focus more on Charlie and Mateo's.
Yeah. That's not how you say it, but yeah.
Mateo's relationship and how they are... One's from Earth and one's from...
How can that possibly work?
Scarro.
Scarro?
Yeah, mate.
Okay,
Scarro.
that's right.
Oh, do you like the Zygon mention? And
there was, there's a few good
cool
mentions throughout the series, yeah.
The Doctor gets mentioned quite a lot.
So The Lost is the episode where it all climaxes. Not really.
I lost my place in life.
Starts with kind of a cool bit, like April's just singing.
April can suddenly sing.
And I was like, this is...
Is she doing that?
I was like, I'm kind of enjoying this, like this Lost thing. It sets the tone of the episode.
On his couch, like.
And I was like, yeah, DJ, we're gonna open someone else's bed.
Dude, literally, Ram's dad literally dies, and then there's a shot of April going, and it goes dun 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 dun. I'm like, good God,
yeah,
that is such a bad place to put it.
I think this episode, like the first 2 minutes, I thought was solid, and then it's like everything from that. I was like, I don't even know. I don't even remember.
There's some stakes, man. There's some stakes.
I don't even remember really what happened in this episode. You know what we didn't talk about was the Shadowkin sex scene.
Oh my God.
Which we're not going to talk about.
Dude, that
for various
is
reasons.
ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like cross-cutting that between April and Ram getting together.
Who thought that was a good idea? Who actually...
Patrick Ness did.
What point did the story did that serve?
It's strange. But yeah, this is sort of the climax. Shadow King are back, baby. Don't know what the fuck they're doing. They have to open up the cabinet, do they, in this one? Is that what happens in this one?
Yeah, we're kind of forced to.
To get rid of the shadow. Oh, no. April commands the shadows away. No, that's in
April
episode
gets shot
6.
By Charlie Bucket.
Charlie Bucket.
Well, Ram's dad dies, which I thought was good.
Yeah.
It was emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And then Tanya's mum, who we've seen for like literally fucking 10 seconds.
Correct.
Dies.
Mm-hmm.
And her brother's going to die, and then they don't. And she goes to Quill, and it's like, kind of teach me. It's kind of a lot of running about, a lot of scenes that seem to they seem to be talking about doing stuff, but they're not doing it until the final scene where they show this damn massive auditorium in the middle of Coal Hill, which coincidentally never has any other students in it ever, and it's shown in so many episodes, and that's where they kind of end the show with April getting shot. Charlie Bucket opens up the Cabinet of Souls, and he's like, and then the Shadow King dies. You don't care because it meant nothing.
Nothing.
There's a
at
cool
all.
scene with the headmaster when she goes to
The Weeping Angels.
the division bought on Wish, where the Weeping Angels rock up, which is cool.
It is cool. It is cool.
Patrick Ness is like, we can use the BBC costume department, can't we? And I think that was cool. And
Yeah.
when it ended, I punched the air.
Did you?
I said,
"What a great show!"
Well, when I finished it originally, I was like, season 2's gonna rock, and then
Never happened. Can't wait for
I feel
season
like
2.
life just got harder after class ended because we finished school and like life just got worse. That was
Do we blame school or do we blame
I
class?
kind of blame a bit of both. Like when class ended,
Yeah.
I feel like life just started getting more and more shit. Oh god, and yeah, literally April's dead, and I wonder how long they would have gone with this gag where her body's in the Shadow King. She's like, "What are you guys looking at?"
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like-
she's a
it's so
Shadow King.
cringe.
Oh, it's so
Oh my
cringy.
god! And it ends. It ends. It couldn't set up a season 2 more if it tried. If it tried.
Patrick Ness was like, "Please let me make it." Yeah. I genuinely couldn't tell you what happens for a lot of this episode. I cannot remember it.
That's what happens when you beef with Stephen Moffat. Doesn't get you far.
Mate, we need to figure out like what season 2 was gonna be. That's what
There's
I'm
a little bit
curious
of
about.
information out there.
Little drops.
But it sucks because like I feel like the cast were really upset and
Were they?
yeah.
Like what? Like
Well,
why didn't we get season 2?
I remember the actor who played Ram was like, the ratings on BBC Three on iPlayer weren't that great. Like, if you guys could try and tune in,
Yeah.
but it was like I think it was like you said, like at 10:45 at
Yeah.
night, and
Yeah. Yikes.
they didn't even give it a chance, man. It should have got. I still stand by the fact it should have gone to season 2.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, iron out some of the kinks. Maybe do a few more drafts of scripts and who knows what are you gonna give
I'm
the
gonna give
Lost?
it a 5.5.
A 5.5. Okay. All
I
right.
think it was a lot. Not really.
This is
It was better than the last one.
This is the first time that I am gonna give a lower score than you. I'm gonna give it a 4.
4. Wow.
Yeah.
So this is the episode you hated the most,
Yeah, I think so.
even more than the last one.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe they're pretty fucking close. I think, but this one I just was so uninterested in the whole way.
I know it
Like-
sucks as a final. You don't care.
I don't care, and it sets up like such an okay. The Weeping Angel stuff is interesting, but like the Shadow King, like being April or whatever, it's just such an uninteresting cliffhanger. Like I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, "Oh, this again? Like we're still doing this April and the Shadow King." You know,
I know when you see him down the floor, you're like, finally, it's over.
I know.
It's like, well, hey guys.
and like they've been doing it
Why are
for
you looking
8
at me
episodes. This whole like connected thing. Yeah,
I hated that arc. I'm so glad you kind of hate it too, because
Mm.
I was thinking maybe I was going to be on my own on that front.
No, it's pretty bloody uninteresting.
All was quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mixed response from me and you there. I do feel like I enjoyed it more than I'm sounding
Same.
like.
Totally same.
But it's just like when you start to look at bits and you ever try and be a bit critical about things, it just does really fall apart, the whole series, I think. Which is a shame because I really wanted to love it on the rewatch. And I found that I liked a lot of bits and then was just so indifferent to so many other bits.
Or did you find it hard to invest in it knowing there wasn't a second season?
No, that doesn't really affect me that much.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty open into it, and yeah, I enjoyed watching it. I watched 2 a day. Like I was kind of into it when I was watching it, but
I watched the first 3 in a row because I was sick, so I was like, I got nothing else to do. So
yeah,
and I actually enjoyed rewatching it. I'm glad I did, and I was looking forward to rewatching it. So I'm glad that we got there in the end.
we did get there. Thank God. So now what we're gonna do off camera, we have combined all 8 of my scores and all 8 of Connor's scores, so we can find out our average rating of class, what our average scores are. Connor, what do you think? if you were to think of the 8 scores you've given, what do you think your score's going to be?
I'm tipping my hat and saying 5.5.
5.5? Okay, what do you think mine will be based off of my scores?
I'm tipping my hat again and saying 5.
Really?
4.
You gave more than me.
Did I?
Your scores were... Sorry, my scores
It
were...
was all a blur.
My
man.
scores were higher than
It
you.
was all a blur that last
You're just throwing numbers out.
I've only had one beer and it's all been a blur.
Connor's fucked.
I don't
Connor's
know. Wait,
fucked.
you gave higher than me or lower than me?
I gave higher scores than you.
okay.
Most of the time.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you were like
Alright.
5.5 for me, 4
I don't
for
know.
you.
It's 6.
Okay, well, look.
Let's have a look. What are you?
You're pretty close. You were like 2 or so off of all of them.
I normally am.
Connor, you got... Your average score was 5.8 and mine was 6.2.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty high.
That's right.
For you, at least, considering how much what you just said then about it being shit.
Yeah, I
You
know.
just gave it a massive fucking.
I feel like I just...
You just fucking
got that Blu-ray in.
smacked it down and said you're shit, and then went. But you get a 6.2 out of 10. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's 0.8 away from a 7.
I think it was enjoyable enough. It
Sure.
doesn't work remotely, but it was enjoyable enough. Okay? Is that...
Can I?
What? What are you going to say? What are you laughing at?
No, I can't.
What? What?
No, it's all right.
You're not going there?
I was nah.
No, he's not going there. Okay. Connor, what do we have in store to look forward to next week?
We have the 2 doctors.
The 2 doctors. That's
Hey,
right.
see,
That was
I'm on it.
that was kind of a bit of a test as well to see if you were with it.
2 doctors and then Children of Earth.
Yes. So next week, 3-part story, 45-minute episodes. The 2 doctors, Colin Baker. If you've never seen it before, check it out. I have been forcing my way through season 22, which I'm so sorry. I just cannot enjoy.
We both haven't seen it.
We've both never seen it before, so it's be a first time for both of us.
Yeah.
So I've caught up. I've watched the first part of it. And without saying how I think about this episode, everything before that in season 22, it's just fucking... I cannot get into it at all. I love Colin and Nicola. I think they're great. We do have one last listener review for this episode. Here it is.
Oh, it's Dylan chucking it in the toilet.
All right, I think that's our show for today.
Yep.
It was a bit of a slow one, I felt. I think
We're tired.
I'm so tired today.
I have to drive like 35 minutes. So,
I had the most fucked day. My day
Yeah?
was... Yeah, I'm not getting into it, but
What
it was...
happened, Aiden?
I'm not getting into it.
What happened?
It was just a day of
It was
almost...
just a day.
Yeah,
Aiden did the clip, which was nice. I appreciate that.
the day defeated me today. And that's all I'll say on that. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50doctor. Subscribe, get us to 500. Yahoo, baby. High five, Connor. That's correct. Look at this. I feel like this whole episode I've just had fake energy. Like the whole episode I've been like, yes, now how good is class? Whereas deep down I'm like, ugh.
I felt like I always thought our class episode would be like, I'm losing it.
That's some good moves, to be fair.
Oh, stop it. Stop, bro. Don't
it.
even. They're not that good.
No, they weren't. Sorry.
Well, you know what you got to do?
No.
We're
Watch the 2 doctors.
not only just that, I've been thinking recently about how, it's been a bit of a ghost town on the old 50%. I can see the tumbleweed. Give us some love.
What are you asking?
I don't know.
What is?
I don't know, share it with your gran.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Tell your
subscribe.
friends. Tell your friends.
If we can, okay, I'll say this: if we can get to 500 subscribers by January 1st, I'll do something.
I'll also do a thing.
It's got to be good though, and I can't think of anything.
Well, we'll make sure we do a thing.
You had on a suicide shot before?
Maybe it rings a bell.
It's
Probably
like when you
not
do
though.
the salt and the tequila and the
Oh
lemon.
fuck! I've done that so many times. Yeah, little tequila.
So many times. You're like, I do that at breakfast. We're not going to do that.
I do.
'cause
How
that's
do you
so-
wake up? You don't drink. No, don't do coffee.
I
It's
wake
tequila.
up by just hearing my alarm clock go, and I go, I wonder if I just stayed in bed and didn't work.
Is that like tequila, salt, and lemon? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But look, originally you were supposed to lick the salt, take the shot, and then I think suck on the lemon. But
Yes,
the
that's
suicide version of it is which I believe is a word you can't say on YouTube. I apologize. That can get you demonetized.
Oh no! If only we were being monetized in the first place.
Yeah,
I've
jokes
been
on you,
Aiden.
YouTube. We're not getting paid anyway.
I've been Aiden.
I've been CONOR free.
Kind of just trying to buff out the runtime here. We'll be back to our normal
we
selves.
need a couch gag.
We'll be back to our normal selves next week, full of energy to
And drunk.
talk about the Two Doctors. Yeah.
Talk about the Two Doctors.
Need it to get through that 80s Who. All right. Thanks so much. Goodbye.
It's a
Waking up in someone else's
Iconic
bed.
podcast. Doing Doctor Who reviews. Come on, everyone at home.
It goes on and on and on and on. I actually just want to go straight to bed. I'm not going to lie.
We didn't bring it this episode.
We didn't, no.
What
I
the fuck's wrong with
apologise.
us?
Yeah.
Are we tired or just not
Sleepy
drunk?
boys. Yeah, I've just had such a mad day, I think.
Man, my back kills.
Can I give a back massage? Maybe that will make it up for our listeners. Me giving you a back massage on air.
Sure, go on. Do you want me to crouch down?
I mean, there's a perfectly fine chair right there that you could have used, but
Okay, sorry.
so sit on the chair.
It's not really. It's not my. That's not where it hurts. It hurts here.
Okay, here.
Yeah, give it a punch. Oh,
How's that?
yeah, pretty good. I think you put it back in place. That's nice.
Just beating you up. This is fun. This is the kind of comedy you can
These are the
subscribe
kind of
to.
adverts you see on like 3 a.m. on like those
Ab
channels
workout.
where they're trying to like, yeah, I used to be fat and ugly, but now I've got the punch back up.
The Connor Bag 720.
I used to be a virgin alcoholic, but now I have this.
But now I'm a virgin.
Yeah, now I've just dropped one of them.
Oh, thank God there was a joke this episode.